we had the NFL trade deadline yesterday, and there were some trades. I don't recall a trade deadline with, maybe notable names going the way that they went yesterday. But let's start with the team who just decided, you know what? Why don't we just have ourselves a good old-fashioned fire sale?
Dang.
And that team would be the awful New York Jets, who decided to go ahead and trade cornerback Sauce Gardner to the Colts in exchange for 2 first-round picks, 2026 and 2027 first-round picks, and wide receiver A.D. Mitchell. So the 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell go back to the Jets. Sauce Gardner heads to the Colts. And then they decided we're not done. They also decided to trade 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Quinn Williams to the Cowboys for a second-round pick in 2026 and a first-round pick in 2027, along with defensive tackle Mazi Smith. And there you go. That's the New York Jets in a nutshell. And this, by the way, the Sauce Gardner side of things, right after, during the offseason, they gave him and Garrett Wilson contract extensions to keep them there as sort of the foundational pieces of the franchise and organization.
Go ahead, Q. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, doesn't this kind of is this a rebuttal to your comments about Micah Parsons? Is Jerry Jones just throwing this right back in your face, Far?
I mean, if you're saying you're trying to,
I think he heard you. And he's attacking you. He's going after you.
Is he coming after me? He might have heard us. I mean, we are a nationally syndicated show. People do listen to us. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did hear us. But I mean, that doesn't, to me, that doesn't change up how I felt about it or how I feel about it. Like, listen, he's trying to shore up the interior part of his line. He needs a pass rush. Like, I get it. You want to stop the run, but you also need to be able to get to the passer. And Quentin is a fine football player. He'll improve their defensive front, and it'll improve their team. I think it's yet another piece. Strategically speaking, I can see that Jerry Jones is potentially him and Stephen Jones are positioning themselves to be able to get, a pass rusher out of the draft to go along with a strong interior. I will say, if you got a dope interior line, a very, very strong defensive tackle, 3 techniques, 0 techniques, whatever it is, it definitely makes life easier on the ends, on the edges, because you have to use multiple guys on the interior. I mean, you think about that Tampa Bay team that had Simeon Rice and guys like that on the defensive line. I mean, you had Booger McFarland, Chidi Ahantu on the other side. But you had Booger McFarland and Warren Sapp on the inside. That's 2 formidable guys, and it always allowed for them to have that one-on-one blocking scheme against them, which you're not going to block a Simeon Rice, by yourself. So maybe that's the direction that Jerry Jones is taking himself in by doing what he's doing. But I like that the Colts were aggressive on trying to shore up their defense because they have the type of team that can make a run. I like, in fact, as crazy as it may sound, I like that if you're going to declare that it's a rebuild, then what better way than getting rid of 2 of your biggest players, most productive players on a failing team to get more draft capital to try to maybe start a rebuild. So I'm not gonna take a negative approach on New York. Maybe this sparks the beginning of a conversation of a change in philosophy, a change in how they approach things as a culture. Maybe this signifies the end of what was and the beginning of what could be, possibly.
I'd put it this way. I actually think it's how do I say this? I think I like it for the Dallas Cowboys because it's a good, strong, aggressive move. Clearly, they know their defense is struggling. You go up, you get a linebacker, you trade to get Quinn Williams. You've already tried to get Kenny Clark. They are a middle-of-the-pack team in regards to sacks. Just if you look at the numbers, I think they're 17th in the league. However, their pressure percentage is actually higher than that. I think they're like a top 10 team. That's according to if you're looking at PFF. But So I don't know that the idea that, they really need an edge rusher, I don't think that's the problem for them. I think one of their biggest issues is like teams are just able to run, throw, whatever they want. And I think that's more of the issue with the defense right now is they're allowing everyone to be balanced. And I think they feel like if they stop the run or do a better job of doing that, there's a better chance that then they can actually, get even more pressure on opposing quarterbacks and more sacks. So I guess I like the fact that Jerry's trying. Like, this isn't a Dallas Cowboys team that's just going to be a bunch of hot air and talk. Like, they're making moves. They're trying. You look at the Colts, as you talked about. Like, the Colts feel like they're in a window right now. That was a big-time deal when you look at what they've given up. 2 first-round picks, as well as A.D. Mitchell, who, to me, is a player who's got all the ability in the world. And so for the Jets, they get a guy who's got something to prove. He's in a new environment, who could be a nice compliment to Garrett Wilson. I mean, you legitimately could have 2 studs if you can get A.D. Mitchell mentally to be where he needs to be. Like, that's a big if, because obviously this team moved on ever since the fumble out of the end zone versus the Rams. Like, that's the reality of it. That play, that singular play, as incredible of a catch and run as it was, that ended up being kind of his last moment with the Colts. And they've been mentally moving on ever since. And this is an example of that. So, they go get a player in Sauce Gardner who's going to be there for the foreseeable future. As Jonas mentioned, they just paid him. They feel like they have a window of right now where they're trying to go win something in 2025, 2026, 2027. That's what that signified to me. So I love the fact that we had action before the trade deadline. I love the fact that we've got teams that they're identifying what their weaknesses are. They're trying to get better. Like the Jets, for example, kind of kicking the can down the road of the future. It's not that far down the road towards the future. You start looking at their draft capital for 2026, 2027, they can start making those changes immediately. And we'll see where they stack up. But I love the fact that we just had action. This trade deadline used to come and go and we wouldn't have anything going on. And people would just kind of be like, oh, yeah, it's football. It's really hard for a player to, join the team and get involved and learn the offense, learn the defense. Like that was what you used to always say, right? I mean, it's just kind of awesome that now we get something to talk about after the trade deadline and teams are being more aggressive.
Yeah, I don't remember one like yesterday to where you had legitimate big-time names that were on the move. It's all like trade deadline's always been more of an NBA, MLB type thing, NHL. The NFL just kind of, other than when Garoppolo was traded to the Niners years ago, but it's not like he was starting a bunch of games or anything like that. I can't recall the last time we had big-time names like this on the move. I just think this proves the Jets should never be taken seriously as an organization ever. Like,
dang.
They just in the same offseason, you told Rodgers, we don't need you. And you told Sauce Gardner, we do need you. We want you here. We're going to pay you. And they're both gone.